stop and tap for 1, 2, and 3 again.
Please welcome former Sergeant Major and current national anthem singer for your Washington Capitals, Bob McDonald, as he sings the Star-Spangled Banner. Oh, and you see by the dawn's early light, once so proudly we hailed at the twilight last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars, the rule of perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, came through the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Turn your attention to the field for tonight's game ball presentation. Tonight's game ball is being delivered by 602 Steam Fitters, proud partners of the DC Defenders. Delivering the game ball is Marine Corps Corporal Brendan Rydell, who served 4 years and completed 2 overseas tours, including in Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. Joining Brendan from the Defenders, Monte Nicholson and Ty Scott. Thank you for your service, Brendan, and thank you to all military veterans in attendance this evening.
All my life I've been searching for something.
Man, favorite place on the road for me is DC.
It's always fun playing in DC.
They got the beer snake, lemons going on the field. It is a great environment.
I love playing St. Louis.
We always have really competitive games.
That's one team I want to beat more than any team in this league.
We got the 2 best teams in the UFL facing off right here. We talked about rivalry. They don't like each other.
Let's go! Okay. Put your foot on their throat and dominate.
St. Louis is looking the part.
That is a dangerous backfield.
I'll meet y'all boys in the end zone.
Big Hakeem Butler.
Way to believe me, bro.
Hey, feel like a trip.
A strike downfield.
Touchdown, defender.
Yes, sir. Boy, did DC put the entire UFL on notice. Throws, end zone, caught, touchdown.
What a catch.
Oh, yeah, right? Yeah!
There it is.
We get a hell yeah!
Boy, we got a showdown. This is going to be a fun one. Well, you can tell how bad they want to beat each other, and the great part about it, we get St. Louis and DC back-to-back weeks as we welcome you to Audi Field on a wet night before kickoff. But this great fan base in DC has brought the ponchos out, and there's no stopping one final beer snake of the season here in DC for these fans as St. Louis comes on in a preview of next week's XFL Conference Championship game. It'll be St. Louis and DC in St. Louis, so that's already locked up, so we'll see some new guys on the field tonight. We welcome you in, Connor Onion, Chase Daniel, and Brock Heward along shortly. Time now for Agent Force Playmakers, insights powered by Salesforce AI. Who do you have your eye on, Chase?
Well, we got St. Louis receiver Blake Jackson. He's going to get more involved in the second half of this year. And then Callahan O'Reilly, a linebacker, made one of the biggest plays of the season with his pick six against Birmingham 2 weeks ago. Then DC, Braylon Sanders, a legitimate deep threat in this league. He's averaging over 25 yards per catch. And then Joe Wallace, he is the best defensive tackle this year in the UFL. And those insights are powered by Agent Force. It's what AI was meant to be.
Those guys are on the field next. They'll play each other back-to-back weeks. It's the Battlehawks and the Defenders to close out the XFL regular season.
Okay.
The best rushing team in the UFL.
He got smoked.
And Travis Feeney, absolutely sensational.
Boy, did DC put the entire UFL on notice.
Number one passing offense. Jordan Damu, the odds-on favorite to get that MVP.
Roberson sniffed it out. We got the two best teams in the UFL.
Welcome to Fox UFL Friday night, presented by Pizza Hut. Welcome back to DC. A little bit of a wet track with some rain falling right before kickoff, but ready to get this one underway on time. It's the final game of the regular season. Shannon Harris, the interim head coach for DC, It was Reggie Barlow at the start of the year in the past 2 years, and he's done a great job. 6-3 record, and has DC into the playoffs next week, where he'll see Anthony Beck down the other side once again. This is the second of 3 matchups on the season, second of 2 in the regular season for Anthony Beck, who told us this week, first deadly sin of football, complacency. So even without playoff stakes tonight, sure to have his team fired up and ready to go for win number 8, they hope. And it is not an easy night to throw the football.
I'll tell you what, these quarterbacks, man, I feel bad for them. Both are getting their first starts of the year, and this ball is going to be really slick. I expect a lot of runs, but we're going to see how they handle it early on here in the game.
So here we go, start of week 10 in the UFL, and a preview of next week's XFL Conference Championship game. And St. Louis touches the ball first, and on this wet surface, it's a long run out to the edge to the 35, a 32-yard return. So Max Duggan has been the guy for St. Louis the last 5 weeks. He's 5-0 as the starter, but it's Brandon Silvers with the playoffs already locked up tonight, getting his first start of the year.
Yeah, he played the second half last week, can really throw it, got a really live arm. 4 drives last week in the second half, 3 scoring today. The biggest thing from Anthony Beck when we talked to him, they really trust him. Let's see if they open up this offense on a wet night.
180, 187.
Silvers on his first throw of the night, sets down the sideline for his big body target, Hakeem Butler. And he drops it in, and what a way to start.
What a way to start. What a way to start is right. This is exactly what happened on the first play of the game, or the half last week. They let Brandon Silvers throw the ball deep down the field. And Hakeem Butler, he's like a red zone target. He's down here at the bottom left of the screen. 1, 2, 3, hitch, ball perfectly placed outside shoulder. You cannot throw the ball any better than that.
So an explosive on the first play of the night, immediately into plus territory for Silvers. And out to Ja'Cour Pearson on the edge, and he's wrestled down after a 2-yard gain. Michael Ojemudia got him. Let's look at your players to watch on this side of the ball.
Yeah, St. Louis, you got Ja'Cour Pearson right there. You just saw him. Different ways to find, to get him in the hands. And then Kevon Latulis had a really big game last week, 66 yards rushing on the other side. Andrew Mintz, he's playing unbelievable, one of the top pass rushers in the league, and DeAndre Baker, first-round pick by the Giants.
180, 187.
Well, this is the #1 rushing offense in the UFL, and Jarvion Howard with the burst into the second level, setting up 1st and goal on his first carry of the night.
I mean, 2 explosive plays right here by the St. Louis offense. It is unbelievable what these guys are able to do, and Jarvion Howard was the 3rd running back. Look at him right here, just a little inside zone, bringing the tight end back, and then a nice cut to get outside. This dude, 12 carries, 60 yards, and a touchdown last week. He's rushed for 222 yards on the season. 3-headed monster there, running back for St. Louis, man.
Jacob Saylor's not expected to carry the ball much, if at all, tonight. Their lead back, so a lot of Howard. Silvers, quick set again for Butler, and a flag comes out. And he was tangled up with Willie Drew on the sideline. And our first marker of the night.
1 line, correct. Pass interference. Defense number 23. By rule, the ball leads at the 1-yard line.
Yeah, look, Willie Drew Jr. right here just gets his hands on him. He's got to get back in phase, and this is exactly what I said about Hakeem Butler. He's 6'5", 220. He's a perfect red zone target. I like that Brandon Silvers is being aggressive early in this game.
It was Butler's 38-yard catch that set him up down in plus territory before Howard went for 20 on the ground. And after the flag, 1st and goal, and Howard plows ahead for a touchdown. So the UFL's best rushing offense. St. Louis punches it in to start this night.
Jarvion Howard, again, we're seeing it right here. It's just a simple little inside zone right here. You're going to have this tight end, number 84, Jake Sutherland, come back, and it's just a misdirection run right there through the middle. This offensive line has been excellent all year, probably one of the best offensive lines in the UFL. Can't ask for a better start than that, Connor.
And Chase, it's an entirely new offensive line tonight. The only guy that is a regular is Donovan West at center.
180.
And he usually plays guard. St. Louis going for one with movement at the line as Howard muscles his way back toward the goal line. Behind that new offensive line for St. Louis. We'll check on that movement.
Movement on the field.
Who gets together?
On decline the penalty, it was DOL.
Yeah.
Well, can't we bank simple fives to the...
No, this is decline. Offside defense. Offside defense. The penalty try is successful. Timeout on the field.
So the try is good. 7-0 St. Louis with 3 offensive linemen getting their first pro starts tonight. Well, quick start for St. Louis, and Missouri Legends is with us tonight. Chase Daniel, just a kid from South Lake Carroll, turning into a Missouri legend in this time in the state where the Battlehawks come from.
That's a bad look with no beard right there. What are we doing?
You finally got it growing now.
Yeah.
It's good to see.
It's gray, though.
When he looked at me, I was like, fuck it, I gotta go see.
Even got it in the headshot. Connor Onion, Chase Daniel, Brock Heward on the sideline, braving the rain tonight.
Like, he was on me. I'm like, what?
First touchdown of the season on an opening drive for St. Louis. They had 6 total points on opening drives the first 9 weeks. The new look offensive line, they get 7 in a little over 2 minutes. And now DC gets their first touch of the night, their final home game. And this breaks out near midfield. And a step out of bounds for Jaden Mickens. So new quarterback today for St. Louis. Same can be said for the DC defenders. Mike DeLillo gets the start for Jordan Ta'amu.
Yeah, Mike DeLillo, man. What a game he had last week. 29 passing attempts in the second half. No team throws it more than the DC defenders. He's going to get a chance today versus St. Louis defense that's resting a lot of their guys. Going to be interesting to see how he plays. Obviously, Jordan Ta'amu is the #1 guy, but what a great opportunity to put some film on tape, not only for your team, other XFL teams, and other NFL teams as well.
He's got to be thinking, man, that St. Louis drive, rain stopped falling. Now it starts falling on his opening touch of the night. And they start on the ground. And Chase, let's look at your players to watch in this phase. St. Louis defense, DCO.
Yeah, I got Abram Smith, running back. Look for the former Baylor Bear to get the majority of the carries tonight. And Javon Antonio had 2 lost fumbles and 2 catches. Look for a bounce-back game for him. Chris Garrett, sacks in back-to-back games. And Micah Abraham, son of DC Donnie Abraham, he had quite the debut last week, Connor. Forced a fumble and took it back 70 yards for a touchdown, man.
Also had a good special teams play before the half. Saved a touchdown, led to a field goal instead. With the chase down. DeLillo with the first pass of the night for DC, and it's complete. And going underneath to Deion Jackson. It'll be a third down. And let's bring in Brock for the first time.
Well, it is a little wet, and Chase, you were talking about it for both these quarterbacks, making their first start of the year and not having the most ideal conditions. But you also do know this, Chase. You know, sometimes when that footing gets bad, and we've seen it with these offenses opening drives, there can be an advantage for those receivers. And this is a pretty good field. It is raining, it is pouring, it's been wet through warm-ups. But I will say this soccer field drains pretty darn well, too.
Ready, go!
First third down tests for DeLillo, and he is sacked. Austin Falu back in there after missing a month with injury, and a pressure on his first third down snap of the night, and a sack.
Right here, just at the defensive tackle, one of the best defensive tackles in the league, just going to step up, swim move inside, and just wraps him up. Like you said, missed some weeks. When we talked to Anthony Becht, he was such good praise for this guy. He came back from a knee injury, missed 4 games. Huge third down sack right there.
Anthony Becht said he feels that's the best defensive tackle in the league that they get back just before the playoffs in Austin Falu. And he'll get about 15 to 20 snaps tonight and making the most of his first few. Punt over the head of Shakur Pearson and in for a touchback. So St. Louis drove right down on their opening drive behind Brandon Silvers at quarterback. He's back out on this wet night in DC next. Tonight's game is sponsored by Progressive. Progressive protects your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, and RV, and could save you money. And by Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut. Well, tomorrow night, the stage is set. The Yankees face the Dodgers in a World Series rematch, or it's the Twins versus the Mariners. Baseball Night in America coverage begins tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern. Check your local listing for the game in your area, only on Fox. Well, fast start for St. Louis, but players are walking off the field. Had weather most of this night in DC, so they'll head back to the locker room with 10:37 left in this first, and the Battlehawks leading 7-0.
Fans